Comedy.
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 Commedia.
Comedy.
Ciao. Welcome to the Comedy Hall.
Perfect.
Ciao, guys. Hello. Welcome to the Comedy Hall podcast. How are you guys? We have Jordan here.
Hey.
Ariel is my name.
That's Ariel.
Our special guest, Terry.
Whoa, yo,
Marinich.
hello, it's me. Terry is my name.
I always say your name wrong.
Yeah.
Terry Marinich.
Yeah, now you get it right.
Okay,
Not on the
so-
stage,
all right, on
never,
stage.
but
Terry is from Belarus, which is a country that used to be part of the USSR. Now it's not anymore. And you grew up, born and raised, Belarus. What is that like? What's happening there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much a mini version of USSR and all the other republics that were in a squad of it, and just like they're now completely different. For instance, like Estonia and Lithuania and Latvia, and even Ukraine is completely different. But Belarus is still, you can walk. There's a Lenin monument. There's like old Soviet buildings, and basically very clean. Always like when foreigners come to a country, it's just like very clean streets. Everything's like in order. Like zero crime on the streets, but basically the crime got into the power. So that's what happened to the government.
Every time, so living here in Poland, I've met a lot of Belarusians for a long time, and I relate to them a lot because Polish people kind of hate themselves and then are like, oh, Poland, whatever. And Belarusians, and I think people from abroad in general, see Poland and they're like, oh, wow, it's awesome. It's a great time. And so me and usually Belarusians would be like, this is great, right? And they're like, yeah, it's amazing. And we'd be all super happy to be in Poland. Whereas Polish people would be like, I hate this shit. Do you find being in Poland is like you enjoy it much more?
Well, actually, it's like a lot similar to Belarus, just like the mentality of people, the way they look. Because I've spent 6 months in Georgia, and that's like speaking with aliens. They are totally, I'm not saying it like in a bad way or in a good way, just like the people are completely different from the Caucasus. And Polish mentality is pretty close to Belarusian one. But like these days, with the political situation, I don't like to hang out with Belarusians too much. Just like, because every conversation with like a chit chat turns out into a political discussion at some point, and a political discussion where everybody's agree about what's going on. So basically, if you're in Poland, you're likely to have some problems with Belarusian government.
But wait, you don't like to chat with Belarusians?
Just like I genuinely like the voice I knew before, like the political crisis or like my buddies. But if it's just a random dude, I'd prefer like a Polish person over Belarusian always. Just like
That's how Terry is losing all his Belarusian fans.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck, Terry?
No.
But I see it's like, for example, now in Italy we are having, of course, it's completely different. I mean, Belarus is much more fucked up than Italy, but also Italy, it's fucked up. But anyway, if we are currently have a political crisis, government crisis, and all the conversation are around politics. So I understand that sometimes you just want to take a break, right, from whatever is the situation in your country can be.
Yeah.
So maybe that's.
I also heard about a Canadian genocide once.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Is
I was
it
part of
real?
that. I fucking kill people. What up?
I was so appalled. It was like some Ukrainian party, and I was with Farina, also the part of PR of Comedy Hall, and she naturally invites everybody to visit stand-up gigs and stuff. And there was like a chick from Canada. I don't remember where exactly, but she was like, "Okay, we've got the best PR, but we are as horrible as anywhere else."
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know, just maybe the PR is fantastic. Just like
PR, I mean, listen, with Canada in general, like, I mean, it was started by British people. So, like, anytime British people are involved, there's going to be some genocide.
And that's how we are losing all our British audience.
Good. Talk to the Irish about genocide from the British.
okay.
All right, listen, we're not here to talk about genocide.
We don't know, maybe. Maybe we will do it right now.
Now, one thing. Now this might be like we're gonna talk about comedy, but I have one question because I noticed as a heterosexual male, Belarusian women are gorgeous. Now, one second before you answer, I had a roommate who was from the Philippines, and he had some female friends who would come over, and they're beautiful women, just as friends. And I'd be like, "Oh my God, she's so gorgeous," and he'd be like, "No, I'm not into Filipino girls." And I'm like, "What? They're gorgeous." And when you see Belarusian girls, are you like, you know what? I'm just so used to it. Screw it. No, I'm not into that.
No. Actually, the thing is, I completely agree with Belarusian chicks. Like, are very hot. But if you like approach them, even let's recall like a usual bar, like a club bar where we having like our stand-up gigs, and it would be completely like I can approach. I don't have like this barrier. Like if this bar was located in Ukraine, and I would approach some girl. She's like, "Hey, how are you doing? Are you having a good time?" She'd probably be like, even if she's not interested with me, she's gonna talk. But Belarusian girl, she would give you the reaction of like you're doing something wrong. Just like you're on a party street, like in Minsk, and you approach her, and she would be like, "I'm not interested," and she wouldn't care like to be nice. They're not that open-minded, but once you know them, it's just a fantastic interaction, I'd say.
Okay, cool.
And also,
I had a Belarusian
boyfriend?
No,
girlfriend,
date with a lady.
Okay, yeah,
with a lady.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, good looking.
She was nice. I mean, not. If she's listening, yes. But yeah, she was very sweet and younger, but sweet.
What was
she was 12?
No, no, she was like 22 or something, or 24, I guess, so younger than me. But anyway, she was sweet. I don't have any other things to add.
Bea.
But she was funny. She was like a funny person. Open-minded, actually. I didn't find her and not open-minded.
I've been on one date with the Belarusian woman. We sit down.
And
Jordan is bragging. No. False start with that. Sorry.
Terry, you will be kicked out of this podcast.
Let me just cut here and start. Anyway, we went on a date with a Belarusian woman. We sit down, and first thing she says was, "So are you married?" And I'm like, "No." She says, "Any kids?"
Like the first questions. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because maybe she had like some bad history or something. Just like
for sure. Was she much older than you?
About like 27.
Okay, all right. Weird.
Yeah, weird, right?
Also, good story, Jordan.
Are Belarusians like this?
No, they're completely like. If you arrange the date with them, like via a dating app, it's
they will go.
Yeah, they would actually show up like. Unlike somebody from Ukraine, for instance, just like I've only went on a date.
Maybe
let's
they're
say
occupied.
that. Only Belarusian, Ukrainian, and been on a couple of days with Polish guys. And
Guys?
girls, yeah, not guys.
Sure.
Either is fine.
Well,
Either is fine.
We've been talking about Belarusian girls, but what about Belarusian guys? Because I noticed, I will talk about the sense of humor of you guys. Like Terry, for me, he's very atypical as a Belarusian, because all the Belarusian guys I know, for example, our fellow comedians, Andrei or Dima, or even your friend that was at the bar yesterday, you all guys have this sense of humor, which is very completely far from Italian. Like, I think the Belarusians are like the farthest kind of. They have the farthest sense of humor compared to Italians.
They have very good sense of humor.
Like it's not that it's very good. It's very different. Like I will come with my being Italian and being noisy and being also physically present, while they will just be silent and have a
drier sense of humor?
No, slow sense of humor. Like, with a low energy and slow sense of humor. Okay. You know, for example, think about Andrei or Dima. They are similar when they do comedy in some way. Of course, Dima, he plays guitar, so it's different. But still, if you also hang out with them, they are just different.
Stoic. It's like they're not much facial, like manipulation, being like crazy face and whatever. It's just more like stoic.
Yes, and I noticed this all the Belarusian guys.
Interesting. Okay. What do you think?
Oh, that's completely true. Yeah, and just like if you compare the level of energy, like in a Polish English stand-up scene and in a Belarusian, for instance, English stand-up scene when we had it, it was like the energy is high here and low there. It's just like there wouldn't be gonna be like some MC style going out on stage and just like keep it going, let's liven the fucking
which
bar
is what
up.
you say. You do.
Yeah. Keep it going. It's you.
Yeah, it's my
Please
That's
evacuate the room.
That's why for me Terry is an atypical Belarusian in the sense in the amount of energy he releases on stage as comedian.
But in real life, yeah, I'm totally Belarusian. This is just like 100%. Yeah.
But also, I now that I'm thinking about it, about these gorgeous Belarusian girls.
Okay. Yeah, we're back. Okay.
No. Well, we're talking about comedy that like.
Do you know any?
There's a good sense of humor, at least getting it very quickly and like laughing and like there is a sense of humor that Belarusians that I've experienced have. Is that true about Belarus? Like, did you come from a funny family?
Oh, well, yeah. My dad was a typical like a prankster, like dad jokes and stuff like that. Yeah, he did it all the time, and he was actually like not in police, but in a prosecution. He was like a lawyer of he persecuted in court.
Okay.
Like as a prosecutor, he worked in a pretty high position. But at home, he was like joking around all the time, and just like my mom has I wouldn't say she's like jokes around a lot, but she gets all the humor, and it's just like I remember this thing, and she was it was like maybe 10 years ago, and I was watching like all the English stand-up comedy, and then she saw Louis C.K. before all this madness, like he faced with Me Too movement and stuff like that, and he was like making jokes about sex related or masturbation, and she's like, I would marry that guy, and they were divorced. And I was like, yeah, he's like, it would be pretty cool to have a Louis C.K. as a stepdad.
Yeah, sure.
Just
I think, but like, yeah, that's like getting it. Like, she totally gets it. Like, Is it? Why do you think that is in Belarus? That or like, if that is true, that it's like a sense of humor is prevalent in Belarus. Why do you think that is?
Tough question to
it is tough.
Yeah, it's just like
my apologies.
I have an idea. I mean, why you think about this? For example, in Poland, also I found that Polish people are very sarcastic and I spoke with Polish people. I asked them why, and it's mainly because they grew up in a fucked up situation with like the communism and the war, so they had to develop the sense of humor to survive.
Yeah,
and so that's why Polish people they are sarcastic. In my opinion, they are, and it's good way to react to some negativity in life.
Right. You think that's it?
Maybe. We also have like a pretty thick skin, I'd say. It's just like we are not comedy police at all. It's just like if you would like shit on Belarusians from the stage, you won't get like a furious reaction from the crowd. Likely, just like you're like unworthy people, and you're just like, hey, yeah, sure, we'll like absorb it. Unlike some probably if you're like joking about Ukrainians, and now it's a pretty sensitive topic to them. And if you drop like one or two sentences wrongly, it's just like Ukrainian comedians who are performing in Ukrainian, they're facing like enormous. The cancel culture is bigger than anywhere there. Just like one dude, like he was during his podcast, he was just like made a remark, just like
Ukraine.
In Ukraine, and he was about to, and he was a famous dude, and he also lived for a year in Minsk. He performed like professionally at a stand-up comedy hall, and he was just like, I can't stand this fucking Instagram these days. Just like it used to be like, wow, my ass is gotten better, and like I wanted everybody to see. and now it's just like all the explosions from like Russia and stuff like that. And he would just that was pretty much the whole comment, and they would just like cut it off, like send it to some Telegram channels, like radical one, and just like, why isn't this guy fighting at war, and just like making comments about like some asses while people are dying, and it just like turned into such a storm shit. They had to cancel the dude. He canceled the whole tour.
I like storm shit. That's a good expression. But
But I mean, that's what happens when you live in a dictatorship, right? In general, that's social and when you get big, you get cancelled if you say something against.
Is Ukraine a
no, it's just I was talking about the Ukrainian dude, but in Belarus, yeah.
Yeah, I mean in Belarus.
I mean, yeah, they have like this sort of tools, and Slava Komisarenko is actually like the perfect example of it. Because we made jokes about like politics. Everybody is like at some point made jokes about political situations. Some of them were like smart and careful, and the others were just pretty much unsafe to say, just like fucking.
And then so this is a guy, just for the listeners, this is a guy who now lives in Poland, who did comedy in Belarus, made fun of the president there, then was kind of like, they canceled his shows and stuff.
He was in Russia first.
No, he was in Russia, but like he was prohibited to perform in Belarus after he made some statement about Lukashenko, about the president.
Okay.
And that wasn't a big deal. He canceled like a couple of concerts, but then he was like in Russia, and they sent like a Belarusian KGB to come pick him up and take him back to Belarus. Yeah, and so he took off, and that's a pretty common situation, not even for comedians. That happens to in all spheres of life, like athletes and other. Basically, if you piss off Lukashenko and you are in Russia, you're fucked. It's just like because Russia and Belarus, their cops are friends.
Yeah.
And just like you.
And so then he was in Russia, and he left to Ukraine.
Yeah, he left to Ukraine, and then war began, and then he left.
Now he's in Poland.
Yeah. For me, it's like pretty much the similar situation. I've actually like I wasn't in prison in Belarus for my comedy, but I did some sort of like prank, and just like I approached like Lukashenko supporters on the street. I filmed them and I sent it to Telegram channels, and one of the videos, like they compiled the video, made a good montage out of it, and 2 days later they grabbed me from the street. They found me using like my face or something, like using some system, and they took me to prison for 45 days, and I left for Ukraine as well. And just like I didn't do some paperwork to remain in Ukraine, so I opened visa to Poland and went to Georgia for winter with plans of either coming back to Ukraine or going to Poland. So I wanted to have like options.
Right.
And then I spent 6 months in Georgia, and the war began during that. And I basically had only two options, like staying in Georgia or going to Poland.
Wow, crazy. That's so crazy.
I imagine all these Belarusian prisons full of intellectuals and,
like super smart.
Yes, super smart people.
Did you play a lot of chess?
Actually, no. There was a dude, because you don't have chess. And you're not allowed to make him out of bread. But there was one dude. He also lives in nearby. He's my neighbor now. He was in a cell with me, and he was very good at chess. And he's like, "Do you want to play it in mind, like like a professional chess players do, E2, E4, and stuff like that?" And just like we can't do that because we don't have skills. But I was sitting like 50-50 with people who are just usual drunkards who are there like on a regular basis for their marginal lives. Like in and out of prison, like there's also they're called like little predators because they steal like some coffee or like kielbasy from the store, and they sell it for half price to markets, and they buy heroin and stuff like that. And it's not having some criminal records. They just like either paying fines, which they don't because they don't have like a banking card, or they're spending some prison time. So basically they're in and off the prison. So this is half of the people I was sitting there with, and the other half was intellectuals. Yeah.
And so the intellectual, what would you just discuss political situations or what?
Oh, we did all kinds of stuff. It's just we made a karaoke night and stuff like that. Just like singing like every song you can remember. We were discussing like families and also like if someone new comes, he has a bunch of like stories from his other life. And it's amazing.
Did you do any stand-up?
They knew I did the stand-up, but I only began by then. I had like 10 shows, and I was sitting there for 45 days. So basically, I ran out of my material, but I watched a lot of like Belarusian and international stand-up, and I was telling these stories, just like, but with a reference, always, just like, this guy said it. I wasn't like, okay, here's my set.
If you make fun of Lukashenko in a prison stand-up set, where are they going to put you?
Nowhere actually. There is like some additional isolator. They usually like put a hobo with all kinds of like things running on him and
mental problems.
Not mental, just like lysis and stuff.
Like physical
solitary confinement. You mean?
Yeah. And not solitary because you've got a wonderful company. And also, I was sitting like in a pretty normal condition because they were like counterfeiting a good case against me. Because on my phone, oh my God, I had like this video of Lukashenko picture exploding. It was just.
Can you explain more what the picture is and what you got arrested for?
Well, I was arrested for approaching Lukashenko supporters. I like made a video with all of them, and they were like misbehaving, like apes, like trying to grab me, trying to rip the phone out of my hands and stuff like that. And they were making fool out of them because I was behaving. I was just like asking them random questions. What are you doing here? Why are you supporting police and stuff like that? And I was pretty polite, and they were like monkeys. And this got into like opposition Telegram channels, and the video got viral. It got like 120,000 views, which is a great amount for Belarus, which is like a 9 million country. So
in general, in prison, like, I mean, you were there for 45 days. No one wants to go to prison. It's not a good situation, obviously, but did you take some positive things from it?
I mean,
maybe some lice.
No, actually, like I came out clean, but I looked pretty cool with a beard because I didn't get to shave like for 45 days. Okay. It's just like I'll show you the picture later. It's just like, oh wow, very sexy human being.
By the way, here comes back the topic: how to get viral on TikTok. Yeah. So, because this is what we were talking about with our previous guest Ravi. Or you do some like a very quick joke, or you shows your boobs, or you do something so extreme that they arrest you. But that's another trick.
I actually got like a couple of pretty viral videos on TikTok where I'm like sending highs to mocking the police, just like on a beach in Georgia where there's a Georgian flag, and I was like, "You're never gonna guess which country I'm in," and just like, guys, I know you're not fucking Sherlock Holmes, but I'm giving you some hints. Just try it, and it got like 120,000 views because like Belarusians, make it viral, not too many subscribers, not anything like crazy, but like people like, because Belarusian police is dumb as fuck, but we actually here's an important lesson: you can't underestimate your enemy, because they have like different tools to get you captured. They don't need like to be really smart. And just like we lost to like the dumbest people ever. Our revolution lost to like worthless pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Which they are.
Wow, all this make me feel so much. I need to go back to politics and fights I don't know. Yeah.
In Italy?
Yeah. I remember, of course, it's completely different. But when I was at high school, for example, I was super into politics, and I was going to all the strikes or everything. Like I was one of the leaders of the school for this, and I love that. And I miss this politic consciousness that I had. Like, I feel I'm far from my country. I don't really know what's going on there. Or I know, but I don't have the feelings of what's going on because it's very far. But I miss to be there and feeling the anger that I used to feel fighting for my rights at the time as a student. And you know what I'm talking about, like sure. The consciousness of
I mean, I only had that here in Poland because I'm from Canada, and it was just fucking boring ass shit.
You fight with animals.
Like,
even more rights.
There is a wolf. There is a wolf.
Too many beavers.
I want to be able to shit in the street. I want to be able to do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, and so like I
think
now
it's quite legal here.
Yeah. now in Canada there might be some stuff where it's like, it's oppressive or whatever, but it's like it's nothing compared
oppressive Canada.
Well, I don't know.
Oppressive
like
Canada.
Genocide
Canada.
There aren't enough TV channels.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not living there, but like only in Poland where I was like, you take to the streets and then the government listens to the people in the streets and is like, okay, we will back off from the abortion laws, and then they actually fuck them up. But in general, like you were always interested in politics?
Not necessarily, just like, and me and my brother, we were discussing like this situation, and before the election and the shitstorm that started, like all the revolutions, and it was just like, what does this like go into the street mean? And it's just like how would it work? Is it like a proper strategy? We were just like very skeptical with him, like just discussing. It doesn't really make much sense to show up on the street. But I was always aware, like of the president, of our like deputies. I didn't go like specifically to meetings or like to protests, but I was always aware of what's going on. I mean, I never participated actively, and even like these protests, I went to some of them. I got detained also before going to prison, but it was just like for one day I got like a minimum fine, and I paid it, and just like I didn't even mention it. It was just like a fun.
We actually were reaching a very high, interesting point on this podcast, and then we broke it because Ariel had to pee.
Out of my butthole.
Okay.
But yeah.
I saw a video like that.
But so, Terry, tell us about the first time you did comedy.
Okay, I was always into stand-up. Like the stand-up in Russia/Belarus, because we have like the same TV channel like 10 years ago, exploded like maybe in 2013 when it was aired on TV on a biggest entertainment channel, which was named TNT. And they had like this show where guys did stand-up, and it was called Standup. And it's just stand-up, yeah. Because nobody knew that conception, that concept, except like for geeks like me, because I had like very weird hobbies. I was into American football, although I'd never seen the game. I was just like, I was reading the play-by-plays and just like was amazed that everything is like quantable there. And then I liked stand-up comedy just because I saw one concert. It was translated by a Ukrainian like professional translator. It was a concert of Eddie Murphy, Raw. From 1987.
Yeah.
It was like actually like aired in movies.
Is that the one where he was like, gay people can't look at my butt?
No,
do you remember?
It was like the first one, and then he did the second one. It's just like it was Delirious in 1983 and
right.
Raw in 1987.
What color was his leather suit?
Okay,
it
wasn't purple. It wasn't purple. Yeah,
okay.
And for Delirious it was orange. And he did this concert, and it was translated word by word very accurately, like all the swear words. And there's like in this concert during like an hour or something, Eddie Murphy says like the word fuck like 200 times, and in Russian it would be like a completely different word every time. And this dude, he did a marvelous job. He just had all the time in Eddie Murphy had. Like you watch English version and you watch with the translated version into Russian, like the dubbed version. It's like pretty much the same. Yeah. I mean, not like dubbed, but it's like a voiceover. You can hear Eddie Murphy as well.
Oh.
Yeah, like
so.
Is he doing like an Eddie Murphy but in Russian?
And the dude is like 50 years old while he translates. But it's like it's amazing. I'm just like I might find it on my phone actually. It's just like real quick. It's just
because in Poland there's there's a classic that it's called The Lector.
Yes.
And it's basically
I hate
all
it.
movies.
Fuck
All
the
movies
lector.
is like, instead of getting each individual character getting voiced over by a different character in Polish, it's just one guy in a very monotone voice being like, this person is doing this. Hey, how are you doing? I am great. And it's the same guy for the whole movie. And it's the weirdest thing in Poland. So I guess it's the same thing in Belarus.
Yeah, and actually, like, there's like some sort of how do you call it, like crowdfunding? Just like when you need a concert, like translated, people donate to it, and even like famous comedians donate to some guys who do the translations, and they just like gather like 10,000 Russian rubles or something.
Okay.
And then we got this amount. We can pay for the equipment, for the translator's work, and they basically pirate concerts. That's what we did with Andrew Schulz. Like there's this group called Old Standup .ru, and it's like it's not like completely Russian, because like the guys from Georgia, from Belarus, from Ukraine, from Russia, they just translated into the Russian language, which is universal for them. And even like with this Andrew Schulz Infamous concert, they've translated it, but Andrew Schulz contacted them and he asked like, could you please not release the like subtitled version of it before it runs out on my website? And they just like, yeah, sure. But he was never asked like, you put it down, don't release it, and just like, because in Russia / Belarus / Ukraine / Georgia, people are not used to pay for services like Netflix and stuff like that. And it's just like pirate all the time.
Good kid, this Andrew Schultz. The more I learn about him.
Yeah.
Венерические болезни уже не те. Теперь мужики приходят к доктору с симптомами типа «Извините, док, что бы это значило, если я иду в туалет?»
That's Eddie Murphy talking.
Конец огнем горит.
That's weird.
Also, this is the first this is the first stand-up special I've ever seen, and the best so far.
I mean, it's an amazing special. So.
It is so fantastic. Everything's on point and relevant 25 years later.
You know, I think he was 19 when he did it.
No, he was a little bit older than
21,
that, but like
max.
in his early 20s.
He was so young.
I wish I was still 20 and be awesome and famous.
Keep wishing.
I don't understand why I'm old.
Eddie Murphy now would rather be you. Have you seen
like
interviews
why
with Eddie
I
Murphy
wasn't
lately?
one of those
He's
great
like,
kids.
I want to go back to stand up. Maybe one of these years. It's been like 30 years since he quit.
He was planning, and this is also his like last special. He didn't
he didn't do
before
anymore.
And he was planning to come back in 2020, and I was fucking waiting for it. Like I was on the tip of my toes, but it's like COVID happened, and also I was like really afraid because like he's like my all-time hero. I'm not a fan like of his like Nutty Professor or Norbit and other shit, but just like he's an amazing comedian.
But he's a phenom. So like, as much as you think, oh fuck, is it going to be terrible when he comes back? I mean, he's so good.
I'll listen to anything that he puts out.
So yeah,
anything.
It'll be it would be good. Of course.
Oh, these days, like everybody's like having ancestors, you know, like, and he has like 9 kids. Eddie Murphy has like 9 or 11 kids.
That's why he's here.
And I also like I've stumbled upon like this podcast run by 2 chicks who appear to be Sylvester Stallone's daughters.
Okay.
And they invited him to the podcast, and it got like 4 million views. Just like their best guest so far. Also quite entertaining to listen, I'd say.
But actually, I have a question. Who is your favorite comedian?
Okay, I have a bunch of them. It would be... Well, Eddie Murphy is definitely in the mix. I fucking love Jim Jeffries.
Okay.
The dude is like the storytelling, and he kept saying like Eddie Murphy got me into storytelling. In his style, he doesn't do like one-liners. He does like stories which are like 20 minutes long and stuff like that.
Sure.
And so definitely Jim Jeffries. I like Ricky Gervais a lot. It's just like the dude was... my all-time heroes, and not only in stand-up, he's like universally. And I usually don't like the guys who do stand-up and they do everything else. I'm usually like, dude, I'd rather you do just stand-up, but not with Ricky Gervais. Everything he touches is pretty much gold, like all the TV series, all the Netflix series. So definitely Ricky Gervais, Jim Jeffries, Eddie Murphy. lately Bill Burr, like I bought into him on this Paper Tiger. Netflix.
Yeah, that's good.
And the latest one is not as good, but it's like the way he shits on women. It's just like, it's phenomenal. I mean, just like, oh my God.
He was here in Warsaw, and like we went to see him here, and he was so good. Like I would have paid triple the price to watch him. He was so good.
Bill Burr, if you want to get on the pod,
reach
out to
our next
guest. Bill
on
Burr.
stage.
Come back to Warsaw.
Bill
Everyone
Burr.
loves you.
I like Bill Burr. It's just not really my thing.
Jordan is bragging.
No,
Old women just yelling. Old women just yelling at me like.
I think there are genius ideas. Like because, for example, he's not funny in the traditional way. He's funny for the way he says things that he thinks as well.
He's amazing with crowd work.
He's not Eddie Murphy style. Okay, he's not genuinely funny. He to be funny, right? Like if he go up on stage, there are comedians that are like funny for the way they look, they move, they say things, they voice.
Very Belarusian in it.
He's funny because he's a genius in the way he writes, as well as Louis C.K. Louis C.K. has some genius way of writing. Of course, this is stand-up comedy. Otherwise, you do cabaret, right? Stand-up comedy is writing skill.
Mm-hmm. But I think also though, like I mean, as much as you say he's not funny, there's a thing. Naturally.
Let's say he's one of my favorite comedians. Bill Burr.
Yeah. And I just think also though, like I mean, just his perspective. If he's talking to somebody, then he'll completely be his opinion.
Yeah.
He's not like, oh, okay, I understand what you're saying. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like that kind of. He's himself.
Yeah.
I would rather watch Bill Burr interviews than Bill Burr stand-up.
Really?
Yeah. I prefer just him talking.
You gotta watch some Bill Burr then.
I've seen some Bill Burr.
You're ruining our chance for Bill Burr to come on this podcast.
Bill Burr, please don't listen to John.
It's all your fault.
I know that Bill Burr is listening to this podcast right now.
Do you like James Acaster?
Never heard of it.
James Acaster, Ricky Gervais, sort of an opposite.
Oh, okay. Then I don't like him.
The opposite?
Fuck this dude. Also, yeah, Louis C.K. And there was this dude, he roasted Reagan. Just like the old American
roasted
comedian.
Reagan?
He roasted, he was at one of the president's roasts.
Do you
know who I'm talking about? I forgot his name, but he was like, Don Rickles.
Oh,
Don Rickles? Yeah.
He's fucking he was a phenom. He was like he's like maybe 80 years older than me, and he died, but he's like my all-time hero.
That's a good one to have.
Rodney Dangerfield era.
Yeah, Don Rickles is awesome. He's a fucking legend. He just like makes fun of you, and everyone loves it.
You just look at him, and he's a natural born entertainer.
He started like. He would make fun of because he was friends with Frank Sinatra, and so they had that whole like mafia group around. But he would make fun of the mafia people, and they would still like it. Yeah, so he had a gift. Yeah, he was awesome.
But also not a fan of like all this old farts who like were like doing cocaine and like smoking the shit out of it, and just like also Doug Stanhope is really good. Yeah, he's like the dude screwed up his fucking life just to be funny, I believe. He's just like he was living like Doug Stanhope is amazing, and just like we have a member of audience who's like his biggest diehard fan, like Anna, and she's going to Edinburgh or wherever to just for this concert of Doug Stanhope, I believe. And it's like I really respect that. It's just like I'd go.
Did you see Super Jaime? That was Doug Stanhope, right?
No,
wasn't it?
Super Jaime? No, that was Doug Benson.
Fuck.
There was also this guy in Belarus, and he did all the kind of like dark humor, like Doug Stanhope standard, but it was completely just it was dark and it was funny as fuck. But then he did like his special like for an hour, and all his like high school friends came up. And you can see like they're not doing really well. They're just like drug addicts, like alcoholics,
Yeah, sure.
and stuff like that. And you figure out that it's not humor. It's like these stories, if they're happening in reality, they're not funny. They're just like super dark.
Yeah.
And I didn't enjoy it like a lot.
Yeah, it's like kind of like romanticizing drug use and stuff where it's like, oh, you're a broken writer or a broken comedian and you're doing drugs all the time, but the reality is you're fucking doing nothing in your home and just doing drugs constantly. So, I wanted to go on with your story about like, so you're out of jail, then you were in.
I can describe actually like sorry for interrupting. I can describe like the 4 different scenes in different countries of English stand-up.
Sure.
So in the beginning, I was really surprised because like the English scene was run by this comedian. He lived like for 11 years in China.
Where?
In Belarus.
Okay.
In Belarus, in Minsk. He lived for 11 years in China. He's a Belarusian, and he's a very decent comedian. But I fucking hated the guts out of him because he like used to have like alcohol problems, and he would like go up on stage and perform like being drunk or high in Russian, and I just fucking hated the attitude. But then I discovered that he's organizing like English open mics, and I went to it, and it was like the best thing ever in Belarus. I didn't expect it. I was expecting like 3 IT guys showing up like who barely know English and listening to like these lame basic jokes, but it was amazing. It was like a very international crowd, like full house, like maybe it was in a bar, so maybe like 40 people, not a crazy amount, but still the place was packed. The atmosphere was amazing. There were like 8 comedians and everyone was killing it. And I was just like, this is the best thing ever. I have to sign up to perform. Although I didn't perform like at all, like for 10 years. So back in like 2013, when this stand-up showed up in Russia, it really exploded and it became like a mainstream, like at an instant.
And you did it in Russian?
I did it a couple of times. I was alright. I translated like some. I made like a literally translation of one of Bo Burnham's songs. By the way, Bo Burnham, I really liked like his first 2 specials, but hated the guts out of like this Inside.
You didn't like Inside?
Inside.
It's Jordan's favorite movie.
That's
why Inside is why I'm doing stand-up.
Wait.
You also have a place that would perfectly work for something like an Inside. Very artful. Yeah.
But so you were you just took his song and translated it and performed it?
No. Just like I altered it a little bit. I added like some verses, but I was just like, this is inspired by Bill Burr. And
Bill Burr.
Bill Burnham. Yeah,
Bill Burnham.
Bill Burnham, yeah. Bo Burnham, like he was also super young when he recorded his first specials.
Everyone
he was like
15, 17. Just like.
Yeah, that means that we will never get anywhere because we are fucking old.
Shut up, Beatrice.
No, because
Whatever.
Accept the life you have. Jesus Christ.
You'd be amazing at 70 because like Italians don't age, right?
That's true. I know I'm joking. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You are comedians, right? Am I wrong? You are comedians, right?
I'm looking into Beatrice's eyes and the sadness is real.
But so wait, so
Jordan is just traumatized by the fact that he said that he hates the last
Inside?
Inside.
Not everyone has taste. It's fine.
What? Just to back up, like I mean, I didn't think it was hilarious, but it was very
It was just so impressive. Like as a project, as a way to spend a year. And so why I'm doing stand-up is because I watched it and then people also talked to me about it. And some of my friends were like, hey, like, why aren't you doing this stuff? We used to do videos and things. And I was like, well, I'm working. Like pretty much all I was doing all that year was working in 2020. And but he made this incredible thing that touched a lot of people. And so I was like, I'm going to start actually creating things and doing things I want to do instead of just wasting my life at just doing a job.
All right, I get it. I get that.
Good inspiration, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
But you hated it, so it's fine.
I mean...
But what about the scene that you were...
Yeah, so it was 2013 and everybody was just starting and everybody was like, it was so competitive. And I thought like I bombed so hard because like I went off the stage and it just... the venue was quite big also, like this Fabrika Norblina. very relatable to it. So I went and like not like a word of support from the comedians because it was such a toxic, competitive environment, and they were competitive about like something new nobody knew about, and I was just like, okay, I was so upset. We went to the train, and I took all the way from another city to Minsk to the capital just to perform, and I thought I bombed, but then I looked for a recording. It was like the shittiest phone ever, and I looked at it, and the reaction was amazing. Like people were like screaming "bravo" at me and stuff like that, and my perception of it was completely different, and I was like discouraged to do like stand up because of the competition and stuff like that, and. I did like some when the university gigs, like I would come up on stage and do like 3 minutes of like jokes and stuff like that, but nothing serious. And when I was visiting like stand-up parties as a spectator for maybe like in the years 2017 to 2022 and 2021 probably. And then I saw this like English stand-up, and I signed up for the next thing, and it was actually like a coldest weather ever, and it's just like 5 people in the audience, and one of them was like my university buddy I haven't seen for 15 years. And there was a funny story. I actually, as a student, we lived in a blocks, and a block has 2 rooms in it, and I burned like some food. And it was like, it didn't start a fire, but it was pretty close to it. And it was just like a lot of smoke, basically. All the store was smoked. I made sure there's no fire. I grabbed my bag, and it was a weekend. It was Saturday. And I went to my hometown, like from a dormitory, just like left no trace. And I show up like on Monday, and the guys are like, "Do you know the news?" And I was like, whatever news, let me show you. I'll go up to this kitchen, and the guy's showing me there's a huge like mark of like the ceiling was white and it turned black because like I was moving like the frying pan, and it's just like amazing fire, and then it's just like all smoke. And there was like, basically all the block needed repairment, and I was like, I was thinking like my roommates are confronting me of doing that, and I did that, and the dude is like, okay, you know what? I think Leonid did that, and I was like, yeah, maybe he did that. and I never saw Leonid since. It's just like we figured it out, and the first time I see it, it was like my first stand-up gig for 10 years, and I basically I did some material, I was prepared. And I also did this story about a frying pan, and it just walked us.
Wait! Did you confess to him that you did it?
Yeah, I wake up on the stage like, by the way, I went to the university with Leon, and I burned kitchen, and everybody thought he did that, and the crowd was already on my side, and it was like him, his girlfriend, and like 3 other dudes. It's just like 5 people because it was crazily cold outside. It's like minus 20 degrees Celsius. Sorry, Jordan, you wouldn't understand what this means.
Yeah, it's
in
temperature.
6. So it's warm. It's warm, right?
Yeah. No.
Sure. But like, so Terry's an evil person, and he should have gone to jail. That's what we're learning.
We would have been friends when I was 12 because I was like a good bully.
Oh yeah.
Like
you'd probably bully me.
A good bully?
Yeah.
Like what? What do you mean good bully?
Was like I am a good person in general. Like I am a good person. But with my best friend, we were like intentionally funny bullying people, but in a friendly way.
Okay.
In the sense,
so bullying.
No. Like we were like the Robin Hood of the bullies. So we would bully the bullies.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, we were bullying the bullies, and this gave us, because we had so much fun. And imagine that they wanted to fight. Like I was 12, and I had all the bully girls of the school against me because I was making fun of them, but I didn't give a shit. And this "don't give a shit" gave us the power of we can bully the bully. So we were like so I think we would have been like friends and do this.
I can imagine you're like wearing like Italian school uniform and just like
No uniforms.
No uniforms.
No
Okay.
uniforms. There were no
Oh my
uniforms.
God. It's like I was picturing the whole of it.
This is just a sexy thought you had.
Yeah, always happens to me. When I'm around Jordan.
Ooh. Is there chemistry between them? Find out next week.
Yeah, indeed, because
On the
actually
comedy
they will
hole.
host together a show on Wednesday.
Oh, really?
Next one. Not this one.
The
but one
31st
after.
of August.
31st of August.
Sweet. That's one thing I was going to say, that like Terry on the lineup is usually very solid, and it's a good thing to have Terry on the lineup if he does his time, which
my
sometimes he doesn't do.
And sometimes he only talks about the show Shameless, which no one has seen except
No, Terry honestly is like a solid stand-up, but like, yeah, you talk to me about at Norblin,
God,
which is the Sunday shows that happen that I host.
I have a story about this. Go on, but yeah.
Basically you have to do 10 minutes, and Terry the first time did 3 or 4 minutes.
4
minutes. And then the next time I invited him back, because like I said, Terry's a funny guy, funny stand-up. And then 4 minutes again for 10. Like, what happened? What's going on?
I have
Wait, no.
I know I have to say something about this.
Wait.
So this happened. You did 4 minutes. Terry gets off stage, and this is like one of the few paid shows in Warsaw. Terry gets off stage.
Rat.
4 minutes. And Terry's like, easiest 100 peeling I ever made.
I did that.
To be honest, that kind of saves it. I like that.
But actually, he turned these gigs into a set because he talks about
not the funniest set ever, but like I had to reflect because like I felt so horrible in Norblina. First of all, it all happened due to lack of preparation. Because usually, like on Sunday, you're relaxed, and also like the first time I did Norblina, my friend was coming from Spain, and I had to like be with her the whole day because she like arrived. Her plane arrived early in the morning on Sunday, and I had to like basically like entertain her before she leaves on Monday morning. Right. So it's just like she has no friends here. I'm the only like friend she's got here. So like I spent the whole day with her, and I got a little bit like preoccupied, tired, because like I was worrying about like is she enjoying the experience and stuff like that. Not too much, but like also we went to this like Ukrainian like charity picnic, and it was I thought I'd head back home and have a power nap, and I'll be fresh and good and I'll do everything. But it's just like it never worked for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I want to interrupt this saying that I think there is a problem with timings for Terry because when he had to do 10 minutes, he did 3. And when he wanted to do 15 minutes, which for his birthday, we ran out of time because all comedians actually went longer during on Wednesday. So
Zinger,
let's confront this.
Nikhil,
so
Ariel went over.
Timings is something we all need to work on.
It's only really a problem at our Wednesday show because we have a hard stop at 10 p.m. because we can't use the microphone after 10
wouldn't
p.m.
be a problem when we're back to the basement.
Which this week it might be raining, so we might be back down there.
But yeah, for that, because I saw, because you have a site where you were explaining a lot of things. It was a very interesting write-up that you had about different scenes and what's going on in your mind kind of thing. And you were saying that you bombed, like, and I think it's just the room. It's so huge that the laughs don't bounce out. But like, do you feel in those moments that you just like, oh, I'm not doing well, I'm going to get off the stage? Or is it like, I actually thought I did 10 minutes?
No, as I said, it was like a preparation, and I was like, I did like a couple of jokes, they didn't work too good, and I didn't like wanted to do a longer set because I was confusing it like while rehearsing, and I didn't like prepare well. It's just like I thought I'd had like some Sunday to myself, but that didn't happen, and I thought like, okay, I'm already bombing, and just like this is horrible. And
I think
just,
he did well
panicked.
on dropping the stage.
Absolutely.
After 4 minutes, because he realized that he was bombing.
To get off the stage?
Yes.
No.
Gotta do your time.
I'll still pay you, but like.
But I appreciate when a comedian understands that he's going.
Well, it's different. Like, we don't have a culture of do your time in Warsaw because everyone's trying to get time so much. But other cities.
I guess I think it was only for me where I was like, the show has to be an hour. I only have 6 comedians. So 10 minutes each is an hour. And then me in between. So it'll be like an hour and a half.
Okay, this is not blame on Terry for...
Listen.
Easy money.
Actually, this is a trap. Ariel invited you here. Actually, Ariel, you invited him here to blame on you, Terry.
No,
this is an intervention.
When it comes down to it, like I actually do think like every time you go on stage, it's like almost a guarantee that first of all, you're always likable on stage. It's you're like very likable on stage. You make fun of yourself. It's like, it's enjoyable to watch. Even if your worst times are still enjoyable. And so that's why sometimes even I put you on first in the lineup because we have people who are doing it for the first time and they might suck and sometimes they do. But like Terry comes on, people are like, oh, this will be a good show. And so that's why I'm not saying it out of because like, what the fuck, Terry? I'm more like, Terry, you can do it.
Yeah, and also because I think that Terry has a lot of now it's happening mentality in the sense that when he's up on stage, he makes fun of something that is relatable to all the audience all the time, like about the previous comedian, about the host, or about whatever is on stage. And he has this unique ability for now of saying something which is immediately relatable for everybody. Yeah. So you never open always with the same joke because you open with something that is happening in that moment.
You and Ricky and Chris Matthew, I think, are the best at this of going on stage and riffing on the show so far.
Yeah, that's why I fucking love like the punchline when we communicated with the audience. And yesterday I was like, oh my god, it's just like it felt so good when I usually don't like when people like praise me, but like I'm very skeptical and critical to receive like positivity turned my way. So thank you guys. But yesterday, like the chicks, like, oh, you performed, and that night it was you. Like up high, and then the other comedians like here, like much lower, and it's like no way, and it's just like that never happened. Like, what night are you referring to? And she was like, the punchline when we did the interaction with hecklers. It was such a synergy. It's like I usually hate to watch myself on tape and listen myself on tape. So yeah, I'm really enjoying listening to this podcast. Right. But that time, just like it was so crazy. I was on point. The timings were right, and this joke worked. It was better than anything I planned. So just like, and then we never did it. It's just like I understand that now we're doing it outside, and it makes more sense to do it. But just like as soon as we're back, it's just we should make.
I miss the basement.
We miss the basement.
It's way. I think it's way harder to host outside.
But it's very good for promo and for the summer.
Because even people walking by, they find out that there's English comedy and we have the banner, and it's very effective. Yeah.
No, but for the past 2 weeks, like Beatrice kicks your ass at hosting, and just like it used to be the other way around, but just like then at some point you event, and the last 2 weeks, it's just like my friends from high school like came there, and it was like the first half went. It was 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. It was like the first half went like so, and the second one, Beatrice shows up like a motherfucking like a godmother with his glasses, and she's like, as you can see from my accent, I'm a vegetarian. Was it?
I always
joke a little bit, and my friends who were sitting there, just like the dude was drinking beer, and he's like, just choke on it. It was so unexpectedly funny, and
she's been kicking my ass lately.
Yeah, and just like for the past 2 weeks,
I've been not doing great the last few weeks, comedy-wise.
Also,
everyone's noticed.
I mean, you come off as an asshole on stage.
I'm going too far in this persona of asshole, and I need to turn the car around because I'm starting to not enjoy it, and I think I'm alienating people.
Yeah, I think that's good perspective.
Ariel, the person that said, "Oh, I hate that guy."
Well, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Fucking hate this guy.
But anyway, we are all.
Beatrice, you've been doing a great job lately.
Thank you. Thanks.
Show your tits. Show your tits.
Oh, she's showing them. Oh, the guys weren't listening.
Yeah. No, whoa, Bea, put them away. Okay. Anyways,
women are funny.
women are funny.
Hashtag.
You should print T-shirts. Women are funny.
I had a guy on Tuesday after the show on Tuesday. Tuesday went very well for me. I have to be honest.
You did a great
job. And this guy came to me after the show and he said, and he was not joking. He said, usually, I'm sorry for saying this, but for me, women are not funny, but you rocked tonight or something like that. I never know what to reply to this stuff.
I think that people say certain things like they want to compliment you and also tell you, I think a big compliment is you changed my mind about something. So they say that thing at the first, women aren't funny, and it's kind of like, you changed my mind tonight. I had a stupid thought before. And so I understand that it's like, hey, you just insulted like a whole group
yourself.
of people.
For me, you just insulted yourself.
I also think when people compliment comedians, they throw in a joke in there. And because they don't know us, it doesn't feel like a joke. Like someone once was like, oh, like, I loved your songs. You were really bad at singing, but like love your I think they were like trying to zing me, but I was just like ouch. Like I don't know you. Like why are you?
But I think it's one of those things. Is like writing a comedian and writing a DM saying you're complimenting them. You even afterwards are like, why did I write this or why did I write that? It's like same with speaking. Someone says a compliment and is like, fuck, I shouldn't have said that, but I do think that someone saying, oh, I usually think women aren't funny, but you rock tonight is like really saying like, I was wrong before and now I realize I'm wrong.
Well, I hope so.
This is a Canadian rationalization, I think. Yeah, I think you're making him sound nicer than he was.
Maybe.
You see, that's why I like Terry. Yeah? He's very clever. He's running a project, Comedy Peripheral.
Oh, Comedy Peripheral. Yeah, while I was in prison, I was like...
While I was in prison,
playing with my bread chess set.
And it was like for like 3 or 4 days, I stayed there in my solitude. It's just like everybody else, and I knew like it's a very like good move from a psychological stand from the police, because I know like in the same cell above me there were like 20 people in a horrible condition. It's like a room for 4 people, and me sitting there all by myself in my solitude. And it's like I've been like in prison for 40 days, and I don't know whether I'm coming as it's scheduled after 45 now. And I was sitting there and I was like singing this song by the singer Lenka. And it's called The Show. Just enjoy the show. It's basically me almost crying, sitting on a bench, and it's like, just enjoy the show. And I was thinking like, I didn't have like a paper or like a pen to write my thoughts down, but I thought like, maybe I can come up with a concept, because I was like really enjoying like my stand-up life. I performed like 10 times since I started, since this Leon guy showed up to my show, and I performed every week after that. And we only had like one weekly mic, and we also organized like the biggest shows once a month. But like I performed every week, and I delivered like it was good sometimes, it was bad sometimes as well. But just like I was every week with a new material, and then I'm in prison. I can't do stand-up anymore. I can't do anything anymore. So I thought about like this Comedy Peripheral. It's just like maybe a TV series or Netflix series. I can like write a screen when I'm out of the prison, because you need to find like some connections with real life there. And so I thought like, okay, this chick comes up. She could be Lenka. She could be like this famous singer, like who used to be famous like 10 years ago. She shows up to town, sings in a bar. We have an interaction after, and I was like trying to impress her, but I'm like a broke Belarusian comedian. How can I impress her? And I was just like, I'm gonna start a show. I'm gonna start a show in English in my hometown where nobody speaks English, and I'm gonna name it not Comedy Central, because she knows it probably, because it's a well-known comedy brand. But I'm gonna call it like Comedy Peripheral, and I didn't know that like peripheral is spelled with PH. So I thought like it's gonna be Comedy Peripheral, and then that's how I like named everything. And now I'm using it as like I created everything for it, like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook page, like all the social media you need. I thought I'll start this as an online diary, and sometimes I maybe write this script. And in this script, it's gonna be the show about me organizing a show in English, a stand-up show in English in a small town where nobody speaks English and nobody knows what stand-up is.
I love this idea.
And also like at some point it explodes, and this girl comes back. So it's like,
just for the girl.
It's just for the girl.
Just for the girl. Maybe like I also die in the end. Maybe I just to add the drama. So it's like, and also this thing would write itself, because we used to organize shows in stand-up in English in all the places I went to. When I went to Ukraine, there was like literally one open mic, and it was like cancelled every other week because like of zero audience, because we didn't do advertisement. So when this guy who organized the open mics in Belarus, he came to Ukraine, we started our own thing, and it was started to explode. But then I had to leave Ukraine because of my, like, I didn't do any paperwork, and I went to Georgia, and I spent very lonely winter by myself. But I went to the capital, Tbilisi, and they had like an English speaking scene there, and I joined the guys. I fucking love them. They're so authentic and unique. They also have like low energy, like Belarusian guys, but they're all super smart. And the thing about what's good about them, they don't know how good they are. They they don't put on like social media. They don't do like YouTube channels. But if they did it in a proper way, they would fucking maybe like not kick our ass, but definitely like would be competitive. Like,
so you thought of Comedy Peripheral in prison?
Yeah, I thought like it would be a concept. I'll come out, I'll write a script, I'll pitch it somewhere. I didn't know. Because in prison, I also met like some professional operators, professional directors, just like for documentaries and stuff like that. I know people, but I never written the script. And so I thought like, for now, I'm using it as an online diary, but then...
Hitler wrote Mein Kampf in prison, so you're joining a strong tradition.
Great comparison, idiot.
Jokes from Ariel, everyone.
I hate this guy. Terry, thank you for coming. Now you're performing at Norblin on the end of the month.
Yes.
Will you do 10 minutes?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm not willing to...
Without talking about Shameless.
Okay,
no, you can do whatever you want.
I'll do 11.
Yes.
Yes,
All right.
that's the attitude.
Well, don't go over.
Thank you very much, Terry, for being here, for being part of the Comedy Hall podcast. And it was great to have you and to have this Belarusian perspective of comedy and of your life.
Totally.
Terry.
Thank you guys for having me.
Ciao.
Thanks, Terry.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Goodbye.
So guys, follow the Comedy Hall on Facebook, on Instagram. Check out our shows. We will be so happy to talk with you. Also, if you have any suggestion about possible topics for this podcast, reach out. If you want to be part of the podcast, reach out. If you're a comedian, then you stop by Warsaw, come, and we will have fun together on stage. So, ciao.